Come and share that.
Yeah, we should have a bit of that around here.
Okay, you're good to go.
Okay.
And we're recording.
All right, I will call the meeting to order. And our first order of business is the approval of the meeting minutes from last time. I had not attended the meeting. I was on vacation, so I will not,
Remember I told you, you need to take me with you on vacation.
I will not make comments on the content. I did not see any typos, so I will defer to you gentlemen if you. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll, yes, make a motion.
Wilkins second, all in favor? It's, minutes are approved as presented. All right, we have new tree work applications. Our first number is 2022-22 Palacio 170 East 4th Street for removal and replacement, and it should be the first one in your packet. Request for removal and I guess replacement with a more suitable street tree. Dash 22. 2022-22. 140 East 4th Street.
Did we refer this to an arborist?
Did you last week?
Yes.
I mean, last one.
I'm sure they did. I'll find it.
Kind of at a disadvantage from not attending the last meeting.
22.
Oh, thank you. Did you discuss this one last week? I mean, last one?
Yeah, I believe we did, but I'm going.
The main concern is the roots are being, making the sidewalk a tripping hazard. Yeah,
I thought that means the one that, like you said, that's going to be referred to.
Yeah, we did say that.
okay.
Or what we need to find out is if we take those out or try to remove some of the, by trimming them or whatever,
You might damage
it's
the
going to
tree.
affect the tree.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll note this one has been
These
referred
roots are silly.
to an arborist.
On the sidewalk. 170 East Street.
See, that one is kind of a, look at that. I have another picture of it, but that thing gets concrete and also brick.
Mhm.
half of it's brick, half of it's concrete. I mean, I don't know who did that, but it should be their responsibility to fix that part. I mean, we don't have the.
We have a form, three of us.
Okay, good. Then, my opinion of this, and I looked at it in every direction.
Right.
And the only thing I can say is, you know, whoever tried to do that repair, unless it's us, of course, does anybody know?
But if an arborist needs to take a look to see if that,
That one root can come out of
Yeah.
the sidewalk. Cause I mean, are they concerned about?
Well, see,
You can raise a little.
okay.
Um,
All right, ready
yeah,
for the next one, okay.
yeah, I just want to get this together. So I can-
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2022-23. I think we pronounced this with. Thank you. 111 Brylon, Rogan, thank you. Avenue with a request to trim. That's something,
What was the?
number 2022-23. It's the third one right, the second one right in your packet.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Yes. I'm well, how are you? Good to see you.
They might all be all stapled together.
Trim
Trim them.
around the wires. I assume they want them trimmed around the wires. They are in the wires.
Well, this is the one, I think we talked about this last time, the one that we were gonna try to trim it around the wires, but we want them to get into any major, it's all down here.
Right,
Which is not really in the wires,
just a smaller,
yeah,
not the main leads.
Right. so,
Or can it be done?
oh, yeah, I'm just like, we did more than that on Third Street.
Okay.
Because these aren't actually on the trees, they're through the trees,
Yeah,
but they're not on them.
yeah. They're not pushing
So
down on the wires.
I think very, and I would say, I would make.
Fury, are you okay with that for number?
I have no problems with it. If they're in the wires, I'll get MSC to take a look at it first and see if they can.
They can do
deal
it.
With it, and then we go from there.
Okay,
And if they want to do it, they got to do it within reason, because we can't just keep, you know, I mean, we don't want to keep cutting trees down. Or they're not going to be affected. This has got less work to do than we had on Third Street. Right?
I need to go take a look at it.
That's the one where I was with him the whole time he did it.
No, this is new.
No, I'm saying the one we did on Third
Oh, the
Street,
one that was,
right,
yes.
had a lot more. So.
Are
Anyway,
they causing a?
I think probably.
We're talking about
more
the
of a-
small little branches.
right,
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
take the big.
No, I wouldn't do that at all.
I wanted another YMCA like,
No,
Yes.
like the zoo. Anyway, I make a motion that we
we'll
let
have,
them. look
you're
at
right,
it.
yes, MSC will look at it and see if it can,
It can be done without affecting the street, which I know.
yes. All right. So MSC will take a look at that and see if that is possible to trim. Next item is 2022-24. Ernest and Eve Brown, and they are at 205 Chestnut Street. If possible, to replace the complete tree with one that is not as invasive with the roots.
This is one that I looked at and also worked in front of. Just 2024.
This is, yes, 20,
This was
20
last fall that I
22,
did.
that's 24 Brown.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ron?
Oh, I'm just saying that this is a area that I worked in front of for maybe about 3 days, trying to correct it, and, you know, took some of the roots out and everything, and then I just kind of gave up. It was just beyond what I could
Is
do.
it too, okay.
What would your opinion be? What would your opinion be?
Oh, well, you know, I guess I thought it needed to come out because it's just kind of a maple that's fairly immature yet. And yet for some reason, the root structure is all over the place. It was going out along the curb and then it was going back towards their house, which was the difficult part. Then it looked like one of them was going under the porch area. So I'm not sure what kind of maple it is, but you'd have to call it vigorous.
Vigorous. Okay.
Got a lot of constrictor roots around it.
Yeah.
So it's probably not had a lot of TLC. And
I don't think it's had any. I think they just put it in and had bad luck with it.
Yes.
But it's
No.
not, you know, really, I'm sure, okay, you've seen it 100 times as you drive by. It's not a real big tree. It's probably 25 feet tall. And the, you know, caliper might be 7, 8 inches. You know, it's not Jagunga. But it looks like it has a lot of growing to do, which is a problem. But if you haven't taken a look at it, you know, go down there. I'm sure the brick are probably popped up again.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one.
John Antonio and I went down there first, and then I said, well, I'm sure I can do something here. Mr. Braveheart.
you tried.
Silly idea.
That's the thing, you tried.
Yeah.
Get some credit for that.
Well, oftentimes it works. You know,
We don't have a picture of the actual.
No, we don't have the whole,
Do you by chance have a picture of that tree?
What's the address?
It is 205 Chestnut Street.
Oh, wait, here. No, that's yours. But that's only the other tree. Shots.
Yeah, there's not included in the
Maybe you
packet
can
of
get
full
it on
size
there.
Yeah.
of the tree. But as Ron said, it's only about 25 feet tall.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they submitted a request on this before, didn't they? Maybe 6, 9 months or so ago.
I know, I looked at it.
Yeah,
You and I looked at it.
yeah, and I don't know what the outcome was, but I remember it, you know, being discussed. And maybe the thought was at the time that, oh, you know, just go down and try to do something with it, and then we'll bring it up again.
It might have been tabled.
Yeah.
I can look that up and then see what it was. It might have been like you said, you were gonna work on it and then.
That probably was it.
See, that problem is that look really
But when you drive by and look at the tree, it doesn't look like it's an
very
offending
healthy.
tree in any way.
Right.
Yeah,
I tell you the truth, I think it would be, and this may, I mean, we need to have, and look at it. I think it would be easier to redo the area than to take the tree down and start over.
Are they just surface roots that are?
Yeah, they're all small.
That's all I saw, and it's the only tree remaining in that whole area.
Hmm.
There used to be like 3 or 4.
They have the ginkgos come.
And then the ginkgos are, you know, on the other side of that alleyway.
Yeah.
And I had requested some money extend the ginkgos all the way down the street.
The sidewalk doesn't look like it's really
I thought that would be
damaged.
a decent thing to do.
I mean, we could probably trim it, but that's all I can see happening here, really. And plus, maybe doing a repair on the sidewalk. Because, I mean, what's coming out the sidewalk?
But the roots,
Yeah.
you really can't do anything further with the roots, correct?
I don't think you can, no. I mean, a big strong guy might be able to, but.
Well, that's why we're sending him out, isn't it? He can rip those things right out of there.
Well, I guess,
I mean, realistically, do you have a picture of it?
I have a picture of, I got multiple pictures of the
Of the
roots, but I
roots.
can't show them on the tree.
I don't have one. any
Here's a
of
picture
the-
we got up on Google, Street.
It is a good looking tree.
We actually have a lot of much worse.
Now, you saw it, what's on there, but that's a stone in front of the,
Tree looks fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so the only damage is, I guess, right on the street. And if you take that curb, a little bit of curb up, try to work around that, I think the question is, can you do that?
That's not going anywhere.
I would think about maybe making the tree pit there. Not knowing exactly where all the roots are in relation to the tree pit, but
Take the
brick.
brick and the
Yeah, just make it a-
hardscape around it and make a bigger pit.
said the roots are going up to the giant house.
Yeah, it cuts across the sidewalk, but maybe those could be cut out.
That's what I was just thinking, how about
Well,
that?
you
root?
took some out on, what was it, Third or Fourth Street, that little tree right in the middle of the walk, the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Remember you took some, damn near all of the,
Can you
It
take
was,
the surface roots out safely and leave the tap roots in and think it would survive at that age, or?
It might, I mean, these look like they're all pretty, it's hard to tell. I mean, if that's a brick, that's a small root
Yeah,
in there.
And they should have, it would have been good if they had shown the sidewalk.
yeah,
Because and often I pick the brick up and the roots below are just pushing up dirt, so you can level it out. Why don't I like that?
Why don't we maybe suggest tabling it for the moment? I'll get some better
Okay.
pictures of the roots, the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
Yeah.
Ron, in your travels, maybe, if you can take a look at it.
Yeah.
And then at the next meeting, we can,
yeah.
Right.
I'm inclined not to hurt the tree and take that out.
fine with that, though, is that those roots keep growing and even the sidewalk, and, it's very expensive to repair and replace.
Unless you
And
could,
then all the work that you put in, and then if it was 6 months, but when did you say?
It was last
did-
fall.
you did it after we looked at it.
how about the idea that when it's looked at, if you can, the possibility like Norm suggested is to make a bigger pit?
Yeah, whatever works. I mean, yes, if that works,
If that's,
certainly.
if that's a work and cut the root, if we can cut the root going under the porch,
Yeah.
onto the house.
That's why I suggested, let me take some
Yeah.
photographs for, your board, and if Norm can take a look at it and see what he recommends,
Yeah,
and then at the next meeting,
yeah,
make a decision.
And the
Fair
other issue there, at least the way Edith explained it, is that, her husband is older and fragile. And he's tripped along there a few times, and
yeah,
I think that's what spurred
that's a concern.
the request.
So the only problem with that is that almost every house in town that has brick really has that kind of problem. I mean, I understand it being a problem, but
Yeah, I don't. This is not your normal
I know.
dip and a wave and why don't you be careful kind of thing. This was I thought it was a serious thing, but it doesn't mean it can't be corrected.
Rob was saying if we did take it out, he would continue the ginkgos all the way down that street. Is that right, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would, if you can save it, fine, I think that's great.
Well, that should be our first step to see
Yeah,
if we
well,
can.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I mean, the other option might be, because it's a nice tree, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
If we can save it, we should save it.
right.
If we can't save it where it sits, we maybe should look at the possibility of finding a place for it. And then doing what you said. Continue, if we need to find something that we're gonna put there that is not going to become a problem down the road.
Well, the 6 ginkgos on the other end have not been a problem at all. They're Magyar, 5 of them are Magyar, and 1 is a Princeton Century. And they seem to be growing just fine, and they're getting good size on them. I think they need to be pruned up. A couple of them are kind of getting dodgy on the top, where they're reaching out for the light a little too much, but. And one of them had the top kind of blow off.
That was a while ago,
Yeah,
All right, so we will table this for further discussion after it is looked at by you gentlemen.
Can we go back to the first one,
Yes,
174? If you remove that root, you might as well remove the tree.
Is that the big one? That the big group?
okay.
yeah. That's it.
That big root running along the
I'm
street.
guessing that's what they,
Yeah, well, but we were looking at the one that's on the sidewalk.
Right.
Right. And they really work around that.
I don't. Realistically, I think that's one that, we should use. Let's just look at it and see if whatever we do to.
yeah, well, I'm talking about this. one.
Yeah.
will affect it.
I guess from tree to tree.
If it's gonna die anyway, I mean, that field is gonna die anyway.
He's talking about if you take this huge root
Right.
out. But we're talking about trying to get a walkway.
Oh, that too, yeah, well, that's all.
I'm sure I've seen that.
Which one, Ron?
The one with the long route going.
The 170.
170.
170 East Fourth.
2022-22.
Well, that, I mean, the problem with that is the whole thing botched up. I mean, whoever did whatever they did and put concrete over brick and brick in concrete, and whatever they've done in there. is, I mean, they're the one that got this whole thing started, because if they had brick there, you wouldn't have that problem, I don't think.
I don't think there's concrete there.
Well, that's.
It's
Right.
There's just a couple pieces of Flaxton sitting there. That's all.
Flagstone.
Yeah, no, that's not concrete per se.
Hold on.
That section, it's all, dirt.
Well, anyway,
Now, are they saying the tripping hazard is the big long route running along the street or the sidewalk?
I was assuming they were talking about the tripping hazard was on the sidewalk, because this is obviously could be a tripping hazard, but you wouldn't be
Walking
necessarily
down the street.
walking
Yeah,
in that area.
right.
But I'm not sure. But as Norm said, we can't take out this big root, so that would be,
That would
Well,
be
you
an
can't.
option.
if you can't, you can't, that's all there's to it.
no, but can something be done up in the other area?
Now, what about the sidewalk, Laura?
That if there was a root popping up that in the upper end,
Can't really
on the
see it.
upper end of
Can't
the
really
photograph.
see what they're
Yeah.
talking about, but. I mean, from the picture, I can't tell how thick it is down there.
Yeah,
I mean, up here by the car, it's
it's
like
huge,
12 inches.
yeah. And the trees themselves don't look in too bad a shape.
No,
No, you want it. Well, what do you think? Let's look at this.
They must be.
Yeah,
Because it's right in this, that's on the side. It's gotta be a section here.
I'm assuming they're not talking about the big root area, because you wouldn't be walking in the dirt there, I would think.
Can we look at the two ways of options? One, if we take the tree down, which is the last thing I want to do, and I'm sure anybody else wants to do. You think that if we don't take it down and try to do some work to it, would that save the tree, or is it going to go dead anyway?
Depends how much you move.
You know, Scott, may I?
Yeah,
Of course. You know, earlier on, we were talking about having a checklist. And then having each member of the group and any of us go over and take a look at it and then check.
right.
And then come back here and then compare, you know, when we're talking about, you know, whatever the number is, we have like 5 opinions plus an opinion or 2 from out here. And then, you know,
I think there's nothing wrong with it,
we could probably talk about it, you know, a little bit more
probably
effectively.
more easily. But let's table it,
Yeah,
and
otherwise it's a little,
somebody needs to
it's a
make,
little speculative.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do,
And it isn't easy. I know when you get these sometimes 2-3 days ahead of the meeting, it's, you know, not always easy to move on it, but it would almost be better to take this whole group and then look at it next time.
okay,
And then each, but I think Carl said he was, you know, planning on taking the notes that I've given him and making up the checklist. And it's easy to pick on him because he's not here.
right.
Yeah, well, he's not feeling well, so we're
He's feeling awful.
poor guy.
So I'm very sorry, Carl, to have done that, but,
Well, I'm just glad he didn't come and give it to us.
yeah. But I think what I'll do then is make a checklist up, and because I've got all the criteria.
That would be great.
I was just hoping he'd put it in a, you know, in a tabular form. So the first round might look a little bit sketchy when you have someone like me doing it. And then I'll just mail it to you and you can run off 4 or 5 copies of it, go out and then check it all off, and then next meeting we'll just come in and then bingo.
You know what?
Just
We
compare.
have some already that need to be done.
Yep. And then we can find
If
out
you-
what this, you know, all this flagstone is and whether there's a root underneath that or.
Whatever we see is the problem, everything will be
Amen.
done.
Yep.
If you want to put the list together and then send it to me.
Yep.
I will put down whatever each
Maybe.
one is.
You could make it into a table form.
Would you put it in
Yep.
Excel, please?
Yep.
Can you do
Okay,
that?
you're on.
That's all I do.
Okay,
So,
then
Let's
that
do
would work
that.
for us.
Promise, I'll do it.
Okay.
It'll take me about 15 minutes.
yeah, but that'll make it easier for everybody.
Yeah.
Then we get what we can do is the week before,
Right,
we'll make the ones up for that week.
Yep.
And we'll have it ready to go, and everybody can go out and do it before and be on the same page.
well, you'll have that form on your machine and you can just run them and do them and bring them and then we can just compare and this will be so simple that it'll be
It's
revolutionary.
gonna have to be simple. You're dealing with me. I'm, you know, brain damage, but anyway,
Well, we can cure that too,
good.
Thank you, Ron.
with a table.
Okay. So now we're gonna, any of the new ones from today, we're going to
Two tables. Yeah, one handle. We still have one more. Yes. Our next one is 2022-25. This is the National Park Service at 10 Market Street. So this is in front of the sheriff's house, I believe. Yes, the sheriff's house. There's 2 big trees where they have right now, I don't know if they've got their scaffolding removed,
That's why they want to know if they can get it trimmed so they can. remove
so they
the
can
scaffold.
get their scaffolding. And they got it up with the scaffold, they got it up.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
with the
because
trees
it's a lot
there.
easier to come down with it.
Going up's the hard part.
You know what? It can't take them that long to do, and at this point, we want to get as much of these things, and we still have stuff from like a year ago. And I'm gonna try to get that stuff off.
Okay, so,
So I would say, let's put that on the list to trim. I mean, it's not that much even, it's just a few branches, it looks like.
yes, so,
Yeah. it is
you
a
hear
hard-
what you have to say, is that okay?
Yeah, I mean,
To look at,
if
take a
that's
look,
what you want, I'll put it on the list to have them,
How much do they need to take off?
Well, do you want me to meet with them too and go? through
Yeah,
it?
well, yeah, what I wanna do is maybe get our guys maintenance and see if they can handle it themselves. And then certainly if you wanna be present, or anyone else to guide them.
Well, somehow or another, I don't know where it came from, but they had said that they wanted me to look at it, so.
ED. I'm glad that, you know.
I have our item of review of past tree work applications. I don't have a list of what those would be,
Well, I will,
but if you,
okay, this one. Neil, see. Plates.
what's the address?
It is 55 Strand. Wait a minute, is that little blue tree or something? Maybe.
Did you say it was 55 the Strand?
Yeah.
55.
Well, that's at the Seitz's.
Yes,
Yeah. And that tree, I think, was partially trimmed before. It's kind of in, mainly in front of 57 and then extends over in 55. But it was trimmed severely, I think, by MSC. Do you remember? Yeah. I think they're like,
Oh, is this the one that they were saying, should we tear it down? Get rid of it? I don't know, to be honest,
I think.
realistically, this is, it maybe needs trimmed, but no more than that.
Yeah, there was a branch or two.
Touching the house.
Yeah, touching the house.
Touching the house, I think
Yeah,
that's all it was.
yeah.
Actually, I remember this. So I would say that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
If they can do it,
You couldn't hurt that tree, given what's happened to it.
yeah. After they got done with it,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the whole center of the tree's missing.
Two of them right in a row, yeah.
That's a remote, that's how they come in and remove those wires, they just go a V, right? Take everything in each one, and then, you know, a year later. Oh,
So,
I just had email this morning, this is another one that you could think of for next month. Jack Granowski owns 411 right on Delaware Street. And there's a sycamore that, I mean, we all know it, it's probably the biggest one in town. It's just huge. There's a little driveway there and it's
Yeah.
on one side of it.
Got a big.
Huge, gnarled and everything, and I never dreamed in my lifetime this would happen, but he sent an email suggesting that the roots were all over the sewer, the whole bill came to, $3,216.17. He said, I think it's time to remove it. He said, it's become a real headache for the community and for me. But I would think we'd need a special budget for that.
oh, no question.
I mean, it's so huge that
like $10,000.
probably, it might be one of the oldest sycamores.
Well, you said that he told you it would be about,
Yes, he said,
The repairs.
oh, the repair of the
Yeah,
sewer.
would you like it in Jack's own words? Yeah, I mean, this is significant because it,
You have to close the street.
it's just being a complete headache. One other bit of information, the sycamore tree's roots have strangled the sewer line. We incurred $385 to remount the line, $2,600 for Servpro to clean up the sewage from the backup. The tree remains, the only recourse is to continue reaming out the sewer line every year, so I said, Jack, don't do that.
Is that the one that we already did, that we've had problems in their basement before the sewer?
I'm not sure, but I don't,
Didn't we cut a tree down near there?
here, I own 411 Delaware Street and have an enormous tree in front of the house.
Yeah.
How should I manage the tree? It's more of an eyesore than a benefit to replace it. Yeah.
Is
So
that-
I think that would be a great service to the city.
Is that
You're
your
referring to, I didn't mean to jump
No,
in.
no, no.
It was in the 600 block of Delaware. Last year sometime.
Oh,
where the
right,
roots-
yeah.
By the Amstel House?
No, further
No,
down.
he's
further
down by me.
Uh,
Right
Across
up
the
on,
fuel,
okay.
or not a fuel home anymore.
Yeah, it was-
Well, let's put it this way, we've had a lot of problems on that side of the street anyway. I mean, it's for,
There's several big sycamores there, aren't
No,
yeah.
no.
This is fourth and
so I've
fifth,
got two big ones in my back.
This was
fourth and fifth.
the one that he was referring to about the sewer problems that we took out was in the 600 block. Across the street from Toner's.
This one is.
Damage to their house,
Closer.
about $25,000.
Miss Travers and
And he was complaining about
Miss Carla,
the backup in the sewer. system,
Yeah.
The roots in the.
you
system.
took 2 sycamores down, yeah.
But that, yeah, that is a very big
Significant.
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
If that were to come down, that would be a
Well,
very,
let's wait till he filed, is he gonna put one more request in, or was that,
Yeah.
was that the
I was
request?
happy to do it for him.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll start taking a look at it.
And then some kind soul, right on the other side of the driveway, put another one in much later. So it's only about this big.
So, yeah.
I think they were hoping they'd kind of match up.
It'll match up in,
Another sycamore.
Yes, yeah.
they're good when they're good, but when they get big.
They're
they're-
good in the middle of
Kinda like
Battery
kittens.
Park, but
Yeah, they're perfect for it.
I've got two of them that I could probably get up at the top and look, maybe to Philadelphia.
see the river.
Now we have several on the meeting minutes that were from last review of past tree work
Okay.
applications. Were they all? is there
I
anything
mean, I
here
went
that
through
needs to be?
pretty much everything. Oh, that's Ann Burns. That's not. She's over. Right?
Kevin's done.
What's the address?
6 West Fifth Street.
That's been removed.
Yeah,
It's done.
it's complete. Matter of fact, apparently somebody came back and took something else out right next door or something. I don't know. She was thrilled happy. All right.
Are there any on this? Or from the minutes, the list of the minutes that need to be further discussed?
Probably.
Special meeting, I think that- Second page.
Briggs is, Briggs is,
Ron, if you could indulge me here, I was on vacation last meeting, so I didn't participate in the discussion on Irene Briggs at 36 West Sixth Street. but it's noted here that you suggested that Ms. Briggs' situation will be policy point that could be addressed on the citywide website. And Judy mentioned that that topic was on the agenda later. Could you just tell me what you meant by that?
It's listed in front of the Briggs.
Yeah,
Well, as I remember, we wanted a tree planted there. And I had just suggested that maybe we should do 3 trees. Because it looked like it would handle it, and that if Ms. Briggs and her neighbor paid for half, that some anonymous donor would probably pay for the other half.
okay,
So we get 3 trees in there, and then Judy said, well, is that a policy that we're gonna have, or whatever? Or what is our policy on that when someone comes to us and
yeah,
wants to put a tree
Okay.
in? And subsequently, someone went over there and talked with her.
okay,
Who did? I thought I had an email from someone that had.
was possibly
that chatted
Judy?
with her. She wanted a tree, or maybe it was Judy. She wanted a tree, but right now she only wanted 1, and she was wondering where to send the check. That's
Okay.
what it was. So I thought before we did that, we don't have the tree anyway to do it.
Okay,
She wanted a red bud, which
Okay.
would be Summers Tower. And, we could probably get that in the spring,
okay,
but it would be nice if we could get a couple of them there.
yeah,
It's a pretty big chunk of land. But on the idea of policies, it seems like that idea comes up frequently.
Yes.
And then we never really deal with it.
yes,
We don't have any policies that I know of that are really written down. So if someone said to us, well, what do you do about X?
when somebody wants a tree, we don't
We
have
talk about it. We don't
the
know what it is.
procedure of what do we do? Have
I
you-
thought we're gonna decide on whether or not to do, because I think it's a good idea. It's good. If somebody wants to pay for one, we'll pay for another, pay for everyone too.
Yeah.
Or if they wanna pay for 2, we'll let them.
Or 4,
Or even 8 or something, I don't know.
Well, that's not gonna happen, but.
Maybe if we, put, a sign on the churches and everything,
Right.
save the trees.
okay, well, that clarifies
Yeah,
what you were
that,
talking
that's all
about.
it was, and then I think from Judy's standpoint, she was thinking, as we do this, website thing, that, we could start listing some of the things that actually need a policy,
Mhm.
and then put them on there, and then, people can read about it.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
This one is 2021 dash. That's Nancy County.
Okay, and
Just, it doesn't need, it just needs trimmed.
What's the address?
What?
there, please?
That's 54 East 4th Street.
Nancy Koenig.
Yeah.
I don't have that on the list here. Okay,
This is probably
Is that,
21.
that's right on the corner.
21.
yes,
Going down
Fourth-
East Fourth, Fourth and Harmony.
Armed and Harmony.
That house, it's like a plum.
The Purple House, yeah.
Yeah.
Plum house, and I think that's been shaved a couple of times, and the branches keep going against the house.
The roof line, yeah.
That's
So she requested again additional
Okay,
trimming.
Put it on there.
Nancy Koenig,
right.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
all.
that one's. Um, 500 Delaware Street. 2022-11.
500 Delaware, I don't have
Oh.
that.
I think that's been removed, right?
Those-
What's the,
These are,
Yeah, those have been removed, and the stumps have even been,
yes.
yeah.
okay.
Oh, were those 2 trees?
Why don't
Oh, no.
why don't we stick with the list that we have in the meeting minutes, because these are,
Those were 2 pear trees, on the 500 side.
okay.
I
Is there
guess
any
we
further discussion needed on 2022-17 Vivian Cameron, 158 East 4th Street? This application was tabled at the September meeting, and Scott inspected the tree, and you stated that it needed to be trimmed. Mr. Casali added that the application also requests that 2 large trees be removed due to the branches. And you informed the commissioners that he and Mr. Bartel, you met with Norm here, and you agreed Norm would lend his expertise for the regarding tree situations. Okay, and so this application would be reviewed by Mr. Lair.
What's the address?
The address here is 158 East 4th Street. Name is Vivian Cameron. Now, that means nothing to you, Norm. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
mean, we walked
But
all
you-
over town
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
Saturday and
Yeah,
looked at everything that's
I'm looking at the meeting minutes from the
Right.
October 3rd meeting. I'm just trying to follow a list of the previous things rather than pulling up something that's been,
70 area.
Yes.
That one string of trees down there.
that's,
I think they're like 4 or 5 so close.
this is what I was talking about, Kim, if we
Right
had,
after the hunt.
if we had a
Yes.
list
Yes.
that we could just stick to rather than
Right.
just dig up.
This is probably in that so-called area. Where was it?
128, I have 128 East
Scott did
Fourth,
my-
124 East Fourth.
I had to go back and try to take something.
Okay, it was at the October 3rd, discussed at the October 3rd meeting, and unfortunately I was away, so I wasn't here for that.
Yeah.
The next one is the one that, that we put, that I actually put the request in for trimming the tree, the big, ash tree on, Delaware Street at front of our house there. That you can wait because the leaves are off the tree. You're not gonna be able to tell which are the dead branches now. So may as well wait till next summer, put that on hold because you can't see what's dead.
It's 313.
Yeah. And the tree at 300 Delaware did come out. Did they both come out or
Yes,
just the one?
they
Yes, they
both
both
came
came
out.
out.
And the stone swamp.
Yes. So that should, the note in the okay, so I've got a note here in the, as noted in the minutes, Ms. Baldini noted that all other past tree applications have been resolved. And then Ron, you had some things that you discussed. So what these should be the list of everything hanging out there. Like Scott just handed me something here, or, oh wait, is this a new one? This is a new one. Kim, is this, Deptula, is this the new one for this?
When was it?
It is 51, oh no, it was tabled in 7-Eleven, excuse me, no. 51 West 4th Street, Leanne Deptula.
51 West 4th Street is where I bricked the sidewalk,
Okay.
and then we looked at the trees, and it has a trunk and then 2 suckers that have come off.
Yeah.
As big as another tree trunk.
So has this been resolved?
Well, in our walkthrough, I have it down as 53 West Fourth. And we had determined it should be removed.
Yeah,
Okay,
because if you take the 2 suckers off, all you're left with is this trunk and then some little filigree in the middle.
okay,
Because the other, the tree is essentially formed by all 3 of them. So you take 2 out, and you've got nothing left but a
Okay.
lollipop.
so that should be,
Yeah.
that should be removed. Well, I don't have anything else under, do you have anything else under?
Other than was just that Saturday, the walkthrough that we did, there's at least 4 or 5 trees that, or the 3 of us determined that need to be removed.
Okay,
So I can pass the addresses on to you, assuming that
yes,
if you agree that they should be removed, then I'll start putting them on the list. Whatever
Okay.
I remove it. 24 East Third Street would be it.
Looks like some of the black.
By Velreth,
That's gone.
that's gone, okay.
And the new trees are in.
Trees.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. They look great.
That's where we removed the four trees.
Right.
Oh, I know what it is.
Okay.
So 124 East Fourth.
124 East Fourth. 24 East Fourth.
What's his name?
Rod Miller.
Rod Miller.
Rod Miller.
Is
No,
he
that was
on
true.
124?
That was true. No, he's
Is-
he's on East, Third. He's in the middle of the block of East Third. He's by Bill West. Hold on. Okay, so
What's that address? You and I were there.
That's the Fourth Street.
this is,
That's the 51.
this is 51. The tree is on 53.
Yeah.
The roots come out and then blow up 51. That's it. That's all done. I
But
mean,
that's off to the side.
Yep, yep, and it was,
So this is done? 51 East
Leanne
But the,
Deptula.
Batula.
the sidewalk is not done.
And the tree's not done. The tree's still in. So, yeah, we're gonna put 53 or 51
It's going to be removed.
Take the
to be
tree out.
removed.
But the
All right.
sidewalk was done. Done,
Since this picture.
yeah, to the satisfaction of Leanne.
Okay, great.
Remember she sent me the Bird Cafe? Remember, come on, Scott, God. No, this is a glass thing that hangs, it's like a hat,
Oh, yeah.
and then the ends flip up, and then you put seed in all around, and then, the birds come in, it's called the Bird Cafe.
So then you, all they have to do is spread it, have plenty of trees.
Yep, squirrels, everything can get at it, But no, it was a very kind thing that you did, yeah.
That's good.
Well, Fury, maybe you could tell me the next one.
Well, 61 was Fourth. It was determined that it should come out.
That was a cherry tree,
Further down.
that was a cherry tree, yeah.
Then at Fifth and William Street, we took out two, I believe.
You
There's one
took out,
tree.
and there's one cherry tree left that looks like a palm tree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That should come out.
And the last one will come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 45 West Fifth Street. Up the street from,
Up the
the
street,
Bartels. on the other
up the
side.
street from UAME.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there's another tree there.
In front of the post office, we already took care of that, one, right? The little tree in front, on the right side of the post office. That was done.
Right, and we replaced
Replaced it.
it the other day, yeah.
35 West Sixth.
West,
Sixth.
With 6th, okay.
west. Oh, that was the sycamore tree,
One that overhangs across the street.
huge one.
Yeah.
Remember that
Right,
one?
so we said we were gonna just cut that, the big branch back.
Yeah.
And that's it, that's all I have from. That's all.
Sometimes you have to go
About
across.
Walcott, Davis.
Yeah. That's good.
And the question, of course, for everyone is, will this ever end? What happened? This
Application.
tree removal. We put in 14 trees, Ken,
Oh.
and you can
Oh,
see
this
we're not
is
even
about
keeping
the,
up, right? We've got
uh,
more trees coming out.
For application.
You don't mind being part of the discussion, do
We
you?
talked about that.
Oh, yeah, right. That's.
I just work.
People should include you more.
Yeah, I think they said they're gonna take the dead wood out of that. Right? That's pretty
I don't know how you're gonna make meeting minutes from this, but God bless you.
That's Miss Kathy.
Honest to goodness, it's like herding cats here, isn't it?
I like nailing jelly.
Ron,
How you gonna
Okay.
find a committee like this?
Just trying to get things done so we can get out from under all this.
Right, amen.
You thought we were.
You
We
thought we
won't
were
go
done.
over there.
You didn't know what you were getting into, did you? Ron, you had a number number of items at the October 3rd meeting. Are any of these in need to be discussed further?
I'm sure they're not.
Okay,
No.
okay,
I think we had covered them in one way or another loosely, and then we looked at the sheet, went down there, and then we had talked about
okay,
the most relevant ones. But thank you, Sheila, appreciate it.
okay. Some of these we did talk about, like the Chula,
Yeah,
we did.
yeah.
Vivian Cameron, did you, didn't somebody say, talk something about that?
What's the address?
158 East Court.
One 58 East Fourth.
Going to assign it to the
Yeah,
architect.
we talked about that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
East Fourth.
Yes,
Okay, so it's in for,
that is, he's,
it's
So
on the
I
list.
check it out.
Yes.
Okay,
so there aren't any more on here that need to be discussed, so we can move on to the next item. Oh,
Alaska,
we don't have members from the public here today.
2022, 22, oh, that's the one.
Yeah, we're done.
Done.
If I can pose a question.
Yes,
For Public Works, we planted 14 new trees.
yes.
Watering status, what should they be doing or not doing?
Well, I can tell you that, yeah. The 6 of them are along the residential side of Delaware between 5th and 6th. They all have bags on them, and I've seen water in them.
Okay,
3 of those are new, and 3 of those are replacements. So the 3 replacements were on the watering list before.
okay.
So we planted 14 trees. We've essentially added 3 that need watering. The Valras have 4, they're gonna water their own. We put 4 small ones down on Clouds Row. And I've been watering those with Sophia. We kind of alternate and then getting water twice a week. In the spring, those will come out, and there will be 4 larger city sprites going in there that will match the ones that, you know, Kelly and Peter have and Jessica have. So there'll be that size 2.5 caliper. And the 4 small ones that Norman has been growing that are out there now will go over to the UAME church
Okay,
and be planted on the grass there by the iron fence.
hot diggity dog.
Yeah, now the question is, how do those rascals get watered? Yeah, well, that's a question for spring. Yeah, so 14 went in, city waters 3, and we're responsible for, the city's responsible for 6, but only 3 are new. And then we're watering the rest of them.
And those 3 are the ones on Delaware Street.
Yes, sir.
And are we still in agreement that we should be watering till Thanksgiving or?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the temperature's supposed to drop.
Yeah.
Yes, and unless we get like a continued weather like this, dry, would we want to,
They really need water now.
you know?
Yeah, yeah. And they've been great about it, you know, they've been.
Yeah, no, I just wanted, they were asking, and I
Yes.
think that when I spoke to Norm. he would say-
Yeah, it's usually up till Thanksgiving and,
Yep.
you know, then it's,
Couple more
we
weeks.
just drop leaves and, you
Yep.
know, temperatures are cooler and they usually don't need supplemental water.
I did drop off, by the way, there's copies of the watering reports, if anybody wants to.
Okay.
I think I made enough copies.
Yeah.
That I got from Delgado.
You put them up here? So,
I'll get it.
Got there right under that pile.
Here?
Just kidding.
Oh, you were right.
They've got to be.
There you go.
just a-
Exactly. They're 3 separate,
What did I tell you?
See, this is what I need, somebody to keep me organized.
I think it's the 21st, the 28th, and maybe the 1st or 2nd of November.
Norm, did you want a copy of this?
No.
Did you?
No,
Ron,
ma'am,
did you want
I'm
a
good.
copy?
No, I go around from time to time and look at the bags and lift up and, you know, they've been good about it. I talked with Jim a couple of times, who's actually been doing the watering over the last few weeks. Jim is excellent, he really is, he's a real trooper.
This is a great idea. Thank you.
I'm just a piano player. Someone else put it, made it and watering it and maintaining it. They just sent me copies of it. And I thought it would be, since there was that question about doing it or not doing it a while
Right,
back, I wanted to make
yeah.
sure that
Yeah, this
that
is
we
the
have at
way to
least
guarantee it, yeah.
documentation that they're doing it.
Yeah, and even easier with someone like Jim doing it, because he's,
Yeah, he's really conscientious.
yeah, I talked to him about it, he said, you know, I'm one of the few people that really want to do it, he said, I really like it. I thought, whoa,
Wow.
That's nice.
this is the first time I've heard that.
Well, you know, they've been short on manpower and they've had some issues over there, so.
Exactly, yeah.
Priorities,
Yeah,
but this is just as important.
Told them they could hire me. What do you want to do?
yeah.
Okay. I do not have any additional.
You don't have them last time you said that. I'm not even gonna.
Does any, we have no comments from members from the public. Ron, did you want to? Was there anything you had for us?
Well, the only thing, and I'm sorry I got it to you so late, was the information that might start out a website. You know, we keep talking about this, but we never really get moving on it.
Okay,
So
you
maybe,
sent some,
maybe our homework for the next time could be the email that I sent you this afternoon.
okay, and
And
then,
it,
okay,
and it makes a feeble attempt to try to get this introduction going.
okay,
And basically, I looked at the one we had.
all right.
Or I guess the one we have.
And you sent it to all the folks here, right? And
What?
you sent it to all of us?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
right, right.
perhaps we could take a look at that
Yeah,
before next meeting and see if there's any suggestions or comments. I'm sure it'll be very helpful.
Just not to volunteer, but did you send one to Kim at all?
I was gonna say, you have a page on the city website. And if you wanna, what, I'm not sure
We
what
want to take a look at it first before, what we were planning on doing was revamping the information that's on the city website,
Okay,
because we don't have an individual, we don't have a separate website, and we don't have any way to support that, so we have to do the one on the city.
so
Right.
you can make it anything you want, because I do it, so. just
Yeah,
tell me what you
yeah,
want.
she would be making the changes, but so we could take a look at what Ron gave us, and then if we have any, if we're all in agreement that that is a good
well,
way to go.
what I put together is just a rough draft.
Yeah.
And I looked at the present Newcastle website, and I looked at the one from Westchester, and then also the one that Carl sent along from Phoenixville.
Mhm.
I just looked at the introduction, and what they're trying to suggest is the the thrust of what they're doing.
Mhm.
And I tried to
Like
make
a
it
mission
simpler,
statement.
that, yeah, because they kind of have lofty goals of what they're doing, and to get the whole community involved, and nonprofit. I mean, some of it gets way too complicated.
Yeah.
I thought our situation is rather basic. And I
Mhm.
just started it out I'll just do this beginning thing, just to plant the seed for you. I've just said the Tree Advisory Commission, TAC at Historic Newcastle, has been advising the city administrator about the care of trees for several decades. So it immediately sets up what our relationship is, that we are advisory to the city administrator, Mr. Martell. Historically, much of that advice has been about the removal of trees. But of late, the suggestions focus also on tree care, tree planting, and the reestablishment of a new village tree canopy.
Mhm.
So we're kind of
Great.
mowing everything down and have been, and what we're trying to do now as a new entity is to reestablish what's been removed.
Mhm.
And then I just say administratively, this could go here or it could go at the end. Administratively, the 5 TAC members are appointed by city council. Meet monthly to consider requests for tree removal, general tree trimming, and identification of sites for tree planting. All voted on recommendations are sent to the city administrator for approval. City code inspector was also in charge of tree removal, trimming, stump grinding, and a tree arborist are present at most meetings. So I'm just trying to describe exactly what we're doing, not that we're, trying to do something out of the ether.
Yeah, does the city council have appointments and then the mayor as well?
I don't know, when you said that, I thought I'll look at it.
Yeah, I'm
It's-
pretty sure I was from the mayor.
They make the appointments, but it's
The
the
city
city
council has to
council
approve it.
that
Yeah.
votes on.
Yes,
They make, yeah, it's, a lot of them have the mayor, they'll approve the mayor's.
yeah,
Exactly,
Appointment.
yeah. People can appoint,
So
but
we
it's the
could just-
city council
yeah,
that.
we could just word that a little.
But a fair point. And then I talk about the existing tree canopy that we have. Now, I went into this just briefly because I thought it might be the impetus to get Carl's, Carl went around the town and tried to assess how many trees we
The
had. which
inventory.
ones they were. Yeah.
It's
So I
inventory.
thought this might be our existing tree canopy, like so many other smaller communities, large stands of maple, oak, sycamore, and zelkova make up our existing tree canopy. Since many of those trees are 47 years old, they're necessary to remove many due to diseases, insect damage, and natural decline. We have found that due to their large size, they pose a problem or a threat to power lines as well as homes. Removal of these large trees is also expensive. So bingo.
Yeah,
What is our tree canopy situation? Carl, enter, put your table in, and then the future tree canopy. Given the problems of the past, rethinking what we're trying to do, rather than planting more large trees, our emphasis on saving as much of the old stock as possible. Planting new cultivars that are 20 to 30 feet tall and about 30 feet, about a third less in width.
and
And
perhaps,
more manageable tree stock, fewer protruding roots to damage sidewalks, smaller limbs that can be directed in positive directions with pruning. It will reduce substantially the cost for tree removal.
and we can have something there to refer to the approved tree list, the updated approved tree
That's
list.
the tree list, bingo, new city tree list. You preempted it, and then we just take our tree list, little line or two in front of it, put it in. Then talk about the process for tree planting in the community and just a few sentences, and then put in our new tree work application, which is shorter than this, doesn't ask about, arborist approval. Yeah, I think something like this could work. Just bingo, just this is what we're about, this is what we're doing. And it doesn't matter, that we're trying to, be here for the general public. We are, right?
No, I think that's great. I
Yeah.
think that's something we can work with.
So Phoenixville and Westchester are much bigger,
Yeah,
and I think that they're part of the park system. We just have a
yeah.
little slice of the pie here,
Mhm.
Well, anyway, it's just a thought, just something that you can get going, and you say, no, I don't like that, I wish it weren't here, get it out of there, I have,
Well, we should all take a look at
Yeah.
what
yeah,
Ron said.
please, if you would, and then, at least for next time, if you could all bring your thoughts, we'll
Yeah.
amalgamate them during this 5 or 6 hour period, and bingo, right in Kim's lap, and then we don't have to
and,
go
you
on
know,
with it.
I could send
Yeah,
it,
Ron, have you been talking to my wife? Ron, have you been talking to my wife?
Was that,
Have you been talking to my wife?
not lately,
Because she, before I left, she said, are you gonna be home on time? Are you gonna be home at 9:00?
hey, it's 5:12, let's get out of here.
Yeah. so,
Yeah. But
I
that,
think that's great, and I will send an email to Judy and
Yeah.
Carl and ask them to take a look at your email and be ready to talk about it
Yeah.
next meeting.
amen,
And there is a part of a page on the calendar where there's about a quarter of a page about the tree, the tax, so maybe I'll send that to you. And you can incorporate that into a smaller version for the calendar and say, look at our new.
Oh,
webpage.
yes.
Yep, yep.
Yes.
Right. But essentially, in terms of the the three cities I looked at, ours is by far the weakest. So we need a new introduction, we have a new tree list, and we have a new tree form. And by the way, our tree list has 12 trees on it, the one that's on the website has 150,
Yeah, it's just, it's almost.
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah, it
It's
just
like
doesn't
every
work
tree
when
that-
you're
You
looking
can
at
do
it.
that right now, I can switch that out.
Yep.
Tonight.
Would you be able to send that list right now to Kim?
And the new.
The new approved tree list?
In 15 minutes.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
the application, you said there's an updated application.
Yeah, and I did one up and sent it to Carl, and he made a couple of changes on it, it's ready to go.
When that's ready, so
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah,
I think
don't
we're
know that.
closer to this than, one might think.
Okay. Is there anything else for the good of the cause?
Well, I think we're on our way.
Well, there was, but Scott has to get home. so-
Hey,
Did-
I'll
did
stay
you-
all
did
night,
you-
doesn't matter to me.
Did you
I
have
got my
something,
mother
Ron?
will wait.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, well,
Now,
good,
Did any of you get to see Carl Miller
we are adjourned.
riding John Antonio's front end loader?
No, I brought my grandson down to see you guys and you'd already weren't there.
Well, I have a photo of it.
Oh,